Hello, I'm Simon Mitchell. I'm here at the photography show and I'm with Victoria Hillman, who's an award-winning wildlife photographer. You certainly combine two passions of mine, photography and animals. Can you tell us a bit about that and how you got into it?
Well, I'm actually a scientist by training, so all my training is in research biology and wildlife biology, conservation and animal behaviour. So I've actually gone through several degrees, and photography really for me was just a passion. It was a hobby. I started when I was a little girl, and then from there I just found that it was a really good way of expressing how I saw things, and then I could share with people what I was seeing and what I was experiencing. As I went through my second degree, or my master's, I actually got to the point where I thought, well, actually I could do the two together. I could combine them, because I'm spending so much time researching animals, I could photograph them as well. And it's allowed me to capture unique behaviours and also do work on several different photographic identification projects with animals as well.
What sort of projects?
I've worked on a dolphin project before. The dolphin photo ID is very well known across the world. The dorsal fins have unique nicks and scratches on them. I've also worked with ringtail lemurs because the eye patterns and the facial markings are unique to each individual, but there are also family traits that run through. And more recently this year I've started helping out with adders. So the back of the head of adders, actually the patterns are unique to each individual, so it's like a fingerprint. So we're just starting out on that one now.
Fantastic. Now I just heard the tail end of your talk then, and I hope to catch the whole of the talk later on in the show. But I've got to ask you, you don't have a fear of venomous snakes?
No, I don't actually have a fear of any wildlife at all. I have a healthy respect for them, but I don't have a fear of them. And I think that just comes from all my research, time that I actually spend with them, and I monitor their behaviours. I look at what they're doing, and I'm completely relaxed around them, so I can just completely calm myself down and then just sit next to them and wait for them to come to me. So I won't go and approach, I will wait for them to come to me.
And you're not fearful that they're going to bite you for any reason?
No, not at all. Adders in particular, actually, they're very, very quiet, very secretive animals, and the majority of the people in the UK would never even see an adder. They're very quiet, they're very secretive, and the first sign of a human, they would normally disappear back into the undergrowth. So I think they're a bit misunderstood. I mean, I spend hours sitting with them, and never once have I even seen a defensive pose from them. They just sit there basking in the sun, doing what they do, and I sit with them, watching them bask in the sun, doing what they do. So
fantastic, yeah. Well, good on you. As an award-winning photographer, you've won national and international competitions. What would you say to anyone wanting to follow in your footsteps?
I would say find your own little niche. Find what you love doing, because the worst thing you can do is copy someone. So if you find people that really inspire you, their work inspires you, research into that a little bit more. Don't ever copy someone else, but use their work to inspire you. And do what you love, because your love and your passion will always come across in your photographs. If you're doing it just to take pictures to sell, and you're not really that into it, or that animal doesn't particularly connect with you, it will come across in the photo and it will be quite a flat image.
Okay, thank you. And having had your work successfully published in magazines and books, if someone's watching who would like their work published, what advice would you offer them?
Keep sending it in. Just keep knocking on that door, and at some point someone will take notice, hopefully. But you've just got to keep going at it. You will take knockbacks, and you will get a lot of knockbacks. But if you can keep picking yourself up, and it is hard, I'm not going to say it's easy at all, but if you just keep going and going and going, you're actually showing your determination, your passion, and eventually someone will pick up on that.
So quantity as well as quality?
Yeah, but don't submit loads and loads. So it's better to submit a few images that create a story than a whole load of random images.
Right, so a panel of images that all link together?
Yeah, very much so, yeah.
Fantastic. You often run workshops for wildlife photography. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, the workshops I run are The most popular ones I run are actually creative nature. So during a workshop, we go through, there's enough one-to-one time, so I only work with small groups, and we basically look at how to use your camera to get the results that you want. So that could be changing aperture, changing your focal point, for example. That's just two examples, but different positions, different locations, different lighting options, and a lot of the techniques that I teach in my workshops are actually can be transferred to any form of photography. For example, a lot of the techniques I use in my wildlife I use in my wedding photography as well. So it's.
And have you got any favourite photos that you've taken?
I think it's probably going to come down to either my bugs or my adders. But black and white, more artistic photos are definitely the ones that I prefer, without a doubt. And the ones that show real connection, because every time I look at them, it reminds me why I do what I do and why I put so much into my job.
And we were discussing earlier about colour and black and white. What's your preference?
I'm probably leaning definitely more towards black and white, simply because you bring out the details. So with a colour image, as humans, naturally we're drawn to bright colours, and we will pick up on those first, but we get distracted by bright colours, and we often overlook details or expressions. But once you take the bright colours out, and whether that's going complete black and white or just taking the saturation down and tweaking the colour slightly, you suddenly notice the details. So something like a butterfly wing, you don't notice the details with the colours, but you turn it to black and white and you notice all the little scales and the veins and everything in there.
Fantastic. And what is your camera gear? What are you using at the moment?
At the moment I've got Canon bodies with a mixture of Canon and Sigma lenses.
And I hear that you're thinking about upgrading?
I am, yes. I've been using a 7D for the last few years now, and I'm actually looking to upgrade to a full frame sensor camera rather than a crop sensor.
Fantastic, yeah. Well, good luck with that. One more thing is, if other people watching this want to learn more about you or find you on the web, what's your web address?
Yeah, my website is www.vixpics.com, so it's VIKSPICS.com.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much.